Well, today, the Pentagon released never-before-seen files on UFOs that the government had been holding for decades. And the files, of course, reignited debate about whether or not we are alone in the universe. So joining us now is Avi Loeb, professor of science at Harvard University and the author of several books, including most recently a New York Times bestseller, Extraterrestrial: The First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth. Professor, it is always so good and very interesting to have you on with us. You make this just easy to understand and exciting. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure.
Of course. Hey, first, let's just talk about what was released today. This is just a huge span of sightings, even from astronauts. Talk to us about the contents, please, if you could.
Right. It's an interesting mix of documents coming from the Pentagon, coming from the intelligence agencies, coming from NASA. It really, the biggest impact of it is that it brings legitimacy to these conversations about perhaps objects we can't understand. They are obviously of importance to national security. We need to figure out what is in the sky. But if it happens to be that we're dealing with objects that are not human-made, then of course it's the biggest discovery ever made by science. So we have to look at the data. It's not a philosophical question as to whether we are being visited. It's really a question that we can address by having good data, good enough data. And here for the first time, we have such documents, information that came from government dating all the way back to 1947, where there is actually a letter that was sent to the Air Force chief of staff saying that there are some flying discs out there and that military personnel cannot figure out. So this has a long history of many decades. And in the past, it was pretty much sidelined by the scientific community, by public figures. And I think what the release brings is a sense of seriousness. Let's figure out what these things are. Now, if you look at the actual data, you see some videos where the important information was redacted, which is quite unfortunate because, in the Epstein files, you can figure out the context even without reading what was redacted. Here, it's really essential to know the details of how the images were taken, under which circumstances, what is the time axis, and so forth. And unfortunately, there are many such reductions, so we can't really make any inference as to what the objects are. But on the other hand, we see, for example, several lights over the horizon of the moon, and that's in the Apollo 12, Apollo 17 missions. And the interesting question there is, are these any maybe reflections from the optics of those cameras, or are we looking at impacts of asteroids on the surface of the moon, the way that the Artemis 2 astronauts reported about? They saw flashes of light. And so, before we decide that we are looking at objects that are really from another world, we need to see if we can explain those as known phenomena. And unfortunately, in the current release, there isn't enough information to exclude simple explanations. And however, the suggestion is that this will continue. There will be weekly installments of additional data.
Yes.
And the best is yet to come, because the more serious data, the more intriguing information takes more time to declassify. A lot of layers in the bureaucracy of government need to go through them. And so I'm hopeful that, in the coming weeks, we'll see even much more exciting things coming out.
Hard to imagine, even more exciting than, what we're talking about, alleged sightings by astronauts. What is more exciting than that? That is so wild. You talk about the very credible sources here that kind of are the center of some of these releases. But mostly we've had a lot of talk about science as of late, excitement around the universe and our recent space mission. As a scientist yourself, What response do you hope people draw from these files if they choose to take a look?
Well, the beauty of science is that it's like a detective story. You're presented with clues, you have to figure out what's going on. And it's a privilege of maintaining our childhood curiosity. Unfortunately, a lot of people, once they become adults, they lose their curiosity. They're becoming risk averse. That includes many members of the scientific community. They are always sticking to traditional thinking, to narratives that we know about. But having new data come out from government about an intriguing question of this nature, I think will excite the public about trying to figure out what it means. So I see it as a great adventure that we will learn more about as time goes on, and perhaps collect new data. And that's what I'm doing with the Galileo project. We have observatories collecting new data. So eventually we'll get to the bottom of it. Are we being visited by some unusual probes, or are all of the sightings a result of natural or human-made phenomena?
I love that, turning speculation into concrete science through data. Avi Loeb, always so fascinating to talk with you, sir. New York Times bestselling author and professor of science at Harvard University. Thank you again, Professor, for taking the time to join us today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, such a pleasure.